And welcome back to Fans React. That was awful, wasn't it? Really, there's not much positives to take out of that. Where'd the game go wrong? Difficult to pinpoint, to be honest. I think going forward, a real lack of movement. It's all well and good having players like Max Power and Elliot Embleton filling in at fullback towards the end of a game, but if you don't have the players up the field to move and come into pockets of space, then how can you expect them to get the best out of them? Defensively, first goal, Willis made the mistake. He let the player get goal side of him, and of course I think Scowen could have done a little bit more. And as for the second goal, I can't really remember how it went in, but I can just remember the Plymouth having a lot of time. It's just another one of those results where you just come away thinking we're just an average League One side, and that's all we are at the moment. As much as we shouldn't be, I don't know where we'll go from here, to be honest. I always like to try and find where the key problems are and put some real solutions forward, but I can't. After that, it was just, I guess you could say that the pitch does come into it. As much as I don't want to make excuses for the team because we weren't good enough tonight, the pitch does come into it, and it did make it harder to play. And I guess if we come out with a plan to play along the floor, or on the floor, or a bit more link up play like we have been in recent weeks, it is going to make it more difficult. But yeah, as I say, there's just not much to comment on really. It's just a poor performance and a terrible result. I'll hand you over to the rest of the lads now. I'm sure there won't be many upbeat, optimistic reactions. But regardless, it'll be interesting to hear what they have to say, because I don't feel as if I can offer much. I don't feel as if I can really offer anything in terms of my insight in the game, because for the first time in a while I was just quite speechless watching Sunderland, really.
Right, Sunderland have just been beat 2-1 to Plymouth at home. Tuesday night, pitch was pathetic, team was pathetic, performance was, well, it was better than Wimbledon, and we won that 3-0, but it was still pathetic. This channel's called Fans React. I created it, and I don't even want to give a reaction to the game. Absolutely terrible, so frustrating. I mean, Plymouth aren't a good side, time wasting like hell, but they beat us convincingly 2-1. We never looked like really, scoring a goal. If I was forced to give a man of the match, it would be to Aidan O'Brien just for scoring. Honestly, I don't want to talk about it. Hopefully, we can start performing a bit better. I mean, a lot of fans were thinking after the Lincoln game, yeah, Lee Johnson, he knows what he's doing, and hopefully he can kick on with these players. These players just aren't good enough. If we don't buy in January, League One is our home for a long time. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about individual performances today. To me, it was just very poor, average at best for some players. But that's it. I'm going to just leave it there.
A very League One Sunderland performance by the lads. First half, first 20 minutes just didn't get started. It was until they scored. We were just one of the races. It was all they scored. It was a good goal, good but poor defending. Gotta have to improve from that. Did improve, got more in the game, but then second half you get your goal, good header by O'Brien, great header. Get yourself back in the game, and you think, now we've started pressing them, we started going at them. They're here for the taking, and really, we just sort of let it go. They score. It's a hard game when they score, because then the first time they've held on and you manage to get the goal the second time, they're not going to make the same mistake they didn't. I feel like the changes were just wrong. Take McGeady off, he's your creative spark, even though he's not really his greatest, he hasn't been his greatest for a while. The name, what he can do, he always he puts the defence further back. And I think once we took him off, they were coasting, because as much as I like Diamond, right, and I've been an advocate of Diamond getting this team, I think Diamond should be in this team, I think Neil should be closer to the team than he is. He's a good player, but he's not the level of McGeady. He's not a player who's going to win you a game on his own. Look at Lincoln, he was at his best at Lincoln, I would say, in a Sunderland shirt, and that was a game where as a team we were good. He's not a player who's going to change a game really, and I don't really think we have anyone else really who can do that. I think quality in the final third was poor, balls were poor. We didn't really. It's when we got to the final third and we were going to threaten them. A lot of the shots were just wayward. It was all. To be honest, the first half harked back to Phil Parkinson. And it was hard, so at times it was hard to watch. The pitch didn't help. The pitch was horrendous. I don't know if we haven't got money for the undersoil heating or the groundsman's had a day off or something, but if that's the state the pitch is in today, with the weather forecast on Saturday, it's going to be a mud bath, and that's going to play into Shrewsbury's hands, really. Lost more points than Hull. Hull won, we had to win. It was a must-win game, and now's the point where we've got to be clawing back these points, really, and we're just not. It's grown, and momentum. We've already been hit by momentum with all the corona. We came in, you're supposed to have that bounce. Really, we haven't had that bounce because we haven't played the games. We've started to pick up a bit of form, and then we just did the typical Sunderland thing. We just sort of let it go, lost our way, really, and you get punished, and they punished us. They were 2 good goals, but they shouldn't be happening. The defence proved the first one. The second one, he should never be allowed in the box. It's a good finish, but it's just too easy, and it's just typical Sunderland. Typical Sunderland that we just throw away games. I'd have took a draw. I think we've drawn too many games in League One. We probably have. I'd have took a draw at the end, but it's a must-win game. Really. When you go into it, it's a must-win game. You think they're here for the team. They've won away all season, but then Niford Mansfield came and won. I could name you loads of examples of teams who've come and won their first league game. It's been going back for years. It's just a Sunderland thing, and really, as soon as you start seeing the stats about Plymouth, you just knew they were going to win. You just knew it was going to. We're just very good at making poor teams look good. And Plymouth aren't a poor team. I watched them the other week in the FA Cup. They were great. But when we started to press them, we started to play. They were there for the taking, but we just lapses of concentration, and we've got to really cut it out.
So, what can I say about that performance? Not much really. First off, the pitch was dreadful. The conditions were dreadful. Didn't help. I will admit that. It didn't help at all. Ian McGeady looked horrific coming off. He looked so pissed off he didn't want to come off. Bringing him off I don't think was a good idea. Should have brung someone else off. Embledon I do not rate at all. He was dreadful as soon as he came on instantly. I do apologise for all that, like the Embledon fans, but dreadful in my opinion. O'Brien, I think he played well. Got himself a goal, pretty nice goal, and a great assist by McFadzean. But other than that, we played poor, very poor. I do believe that the pitch and the conditions didn't help either, but other than that, dreadful and a poor loss. Should have easily have won that game.
Hi Sunderland fans, so it's finished at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 1, Plymouth Argyle 2. Not the best game of football if I'm honest. I've seen us play better. Not much better for a while I have to say. I actually thought we played better today than we played against Wimbledon on Saturday. That didn't really say a right lot if I'm honest. The pitch looked dire at the beginning of the game and it looked even worse by the end. I think the first half, we looked fairly alright. I think, we conceded a goal, we got a goal back. And I think on the balance of things, I think we were probably the better side in that first half. But second half, again, I used the phrase on Saturday, bang average. We just weren't special at all. No real standout performances at all. I just think that, we're just lacking. Embledon had another terrible game. I think Johnson's going to struggle if he doesn't make some decent signings before the end of the transfer window. I know that's not easy being a League One club with potentially not a right lot of money behind it. But if we don't make any changes, this is going to be it. This is a League One team doing what League One teams do, and there's literally no getting away from that. I wish I could be less miserable, but it actually just doesn't feel like it at the minute. It really doesn't. It's just like watching the same old shite week in, week out. Punctured with the result on Saturday, which, really buoyed everybody up. But we never looked like winning today, if I'm honest. We created a load of chances, but second half, as I said, we were just rubbish, some good chances, but wasted, really wasteful, Johnson talks about this, POMO, position of maximum opportunity. I don't ever remember seeing us really getting into it. Certainly not in the second half anyway. But, you know, I've rattled on enough now. I say it every time, onward and upward to the next game, and, you know, fingers crossed we can actually start putting stuff together, because we are just looking like an average League One team, and that's not good for anybody.